Yes, ma'am.
Okay, children. Okay, children. So if it is visible, so please
Yes, ma'am.
listen carefully. Listen carefully what I am going to teach. Okay. First mute yourself and listen me carefully. Okay. Before starting the text, reading of the text, just we should read what is given at the upside of the page. It is given, can a shoemaker be called an artist? Yes, if he has the same skill and pride in his trade as any other artist, and the same respect for it too. Mr. Gessler, a German shoemaker settled in London, is a perfect artist. Read this story to see how he devotes his life to his art. It means we have to study this chapter to know that a shoemaker can be called an artist. What is an artist? Artist is called the person who has some kind of a skill and he has its pride. Like musician. Music is an art, painting is an art, crafting is an art, to making something is an art, everything. Teaching is also an art. Dancing is an art. But here the question and example is totally different. That here it is given that a shoemaker is an artist. So how? In this chapter, the narrator is telling about his own story. It means he is telling the story about his childhood till the youth, that what was happened with Mr. Gessler and how he could say that he was an artist. Just he was making the shoe only, he was just making the boots. But why the narrator is speaking and calling him as an artist? Let's see. Okay, let me read for you the text. I knew him from the days of my extreme youth because he made many father's boots. My father's boots. He lived with his elder brother in his shop, which was in a small by street in a fashionable part of London. The shop had a certain quiet distinction. There was no shine upon it other than the name of Gessler Brothers. And in the window, a few pairs of boots. He made only what was ordered, and what he made never failed to fit. To make boots, such boots as he made, seemed to me then, and still seems to me, mysterious and wonderful. Okay, so let me tell you one thing about this. That the narrator is telling that he was knowing Mr. Gessler, who was a shoemaker, by his childhood. It means from childhood he could see the person Mr. Gessler as a shoemaker. Why? Because when he was very small, very young, his father went to the bootmaker tell them to make the boot. Okay, it means just generally what we do, generally we go to the shoe shop and we purchase the shops. But at the ancient time it was not like that. At the ancient time there was a fashion to make the boots or to purchase the boots by making them. How? It means people call the shopkeeper and they give their sizes of the legs, and then the leather they choose which would be used for making the shoe, and then the shoe was made by the shoemaker. So this was the fashion at the olden times. But now it has been changed because we are having ready-made boots. We are having ready-made shoes, we are ready-made boots. Whatever we want, we can purchase going to the market and we can take, we can buy. But now what is the system has come? Now we can also order. Now we can also order the things on online even. Okay. So just like that in the old times, what had happened, like it has been told here. So the shop had a certain quiet distinction. It has been told by a narrator that the shoemaker's shop was different among all the shops of that street. It means, you know that in London the market are having many advertisements, many TVs, LEDs outside of the shop, that so that they can advertise their things, they can tell people about the quality of the things inside. But there was some different. There was some distinction. It means there was some difference in the shop of Mr. Gessler, because it was not having any fancy advertisement. It was only having a name, Mr. Gessler. Okay, Gessler Brother was the name of the shop. Nothing was written except this. Okay, then the next paragraph is telling the shop had a certain quiet distinction, as I told you, and there was no sign than other Gessler brothers. So it means those who were already their permanent customer, they would always come to order the shoes to make by the shoemaker Mr. Gessler. Okay, so to make boots, such boots as he made seemed to me then and still seems to me mysterious and wonderful. It means narrator is telling the quality of the shoes made by Mr. Gessler, that they were made by such intention that they never lasted very shortly. They never lasted very shortly. It means it was having such a withstanding that it run for the long time. So it was not very needed to go to the Mr. Gessler very shortly. It means the shoes was made with the leather that was very pure, and purity of that shoes can be understood by the quality that it never lasted very shortly. Next, I remember when my child remarks one day while stretching out to him my youthful foot, "Isn't it awfully hard to do, Mr. Gessler?" And his answer given with a sudden smile from out of the redness of his beard, "It is an art." Look class, here it is written, the language of the Germany, that it is an art. It is not written it is an art. It is an art. It was written. It means it is a German accent English. Okay, it is German English actually. Okay, so I remember well. Narrator is telling one day what happened to him. One day he went to the shop of Mr. Gessler, where Mr. Gessler asked the boy, the narrator when he was very small, to stretch out your legs to take the size of your leg. Who told this? Mr. Gessler to the youthful guy. It means the youthful guy. Who was that? The narrator. So when the narrator was very small child, he went to the shop and he stretched out his leg to give his own size to be taken by Mr. Gessler. He was feeling very shy. You know that when we put our legs before someone, we feel shy that it should not be done because it doesn't come in the etiquette. It doesn't come in your manner. So it is very forbidden to show someone our legs. Okay. So Mr. Gessler, when he stretched out his leg towards Mr. Gessler, he felt very shy and he felt shame because of his behavior. And his answer given with a sudden smile. But Mr. Gessler was not feeling any shy. He was not feeling any insult, because it was his work. It was his duty. He was thinking that it was his responsibility. That's why he didn't feel any shy, any shame. Okay. Well, so he replied with a small smile that, look, here it is written about his quality that his face was with redness. His face was full of the redness of his beard. Beard, you know, this is beard. And it is an art. What he told about the shoemaking, that it is an art. It means we generally don't consider that shoemaking is an art. But for Mr. Gessler, it was an art. Okay. Now let's move to the next paragraph. It was not possible to go to him very often. It means very frequently. It was not needed. As I told you that his shoes were made by him, never lasted very shortly. That's why people don't go to his shop very shortly, very frequently. So his boots lasted probably. It means very long time. Their shoes run and they don't creak even, and they fits in the size of the person for whom the shoes were made. Then having something, you can see the picture of the Gessler's brother. Can you see the shop?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Now let's move.
Yes, ma'am.
Beyond the temporary, some essence of boot stitched into them. It feels, it sounds like the essence. Essence, you know? Essence means necessity. Essence means necessity. It means that Mr. Gessler made the boots. They never lasted very frequently, and they were not temporary. They were not very temporary. You know that now in the modern time, people are having many shoes. They are having shoes for park. They are having shoes for school. They are having shoes for office. They are having shoes for some party. They are having shoes for different. It means everyone in a modern time has many boots, many shoes, because they are using different boots or different shoes in the different occasions. Okay, but at the earlier times it was not possible, because people were not having that fashion at that time. Okay, next, and the father of the narrator was very fan. He was a very big fan of the boots made by Gessler brother. That's why his father always went to the shop of Mr. Gessler. You know that generally we also do that, because when we fix some shopkeeper to take some groceries, some fooding items, we generally fix some shopkeeper. Just like that, the father of the narrator also fixed that shopkeeper to get the shoes. Next, one went in not as into most shops, but restfully as one enters a church and sitting on the single wooden chair. Now we are going to study about the shop of Mr. Gessler. How it was looking, how it looked. Okay, a guttural sound in the tip-tap of his slippers beating the narrow wooden stairs, and he would stand before one without coat. a little bent in leather apron and sleeves turned back, blinking as if awakened from some dream of boots. Okay, how it was, let's see. One went in, it means whoever comes in the shop of Mr. Gessler, he felt like he was entering into a church because it was very peaceful. Nobody was there. Frequently, whenever the author went into the shop of the Mr. Gessler, he never found a lot of crowd there. But you know, in the modern times, whenever we go, some shopkeeper who is selling the shoes, we find a lot of crowd, people, those who are fitting their legs, those who are checking the shoes and different kind of fashionable shoes. But in the Mr. Gessler shop, nobody was there whenever he went to the shop of Mr. Gessler. He always looks like it was very peaceful and he was entering in a church and sitting on the single wooden chair. Okay, he was always sitting on a single wooden chair and waiting for the customer. A guttural sound and the tip tap of his slipper beating the narrow wooden stair, and he would stand before one without coat. Okay, whenever someone come in the leather shop, how it represented? It means always Mr. Gessler came with wearing his slippers and beating the narrow wooden stair. It means he was also making the tip-tap sound from his legs by beating the narrow wooden stairs. It means there was a wooden stair whenever someone walk on the wooden stair, it always sounds like tip tap, tip tap. And he was always having the leather apron. He was always having a leather apron on his left hand, and he was always turned back as he awaited. And whenever someone comes, it feels like he was in the dreams, and he suddenly came in the awareness that somebody had come. Then I could say, then the narrator say what? That how do you do, Mr. Gessler? And could you make me a pair of Russian leather boots? Who asked? This question was asked by narrator. Russian leather boots. Without a word, he would leave me retiring whence he came, or into the other portion of the shop, and I would continue to rest in the wooden chair, inhaling the essence of his trade. Soon he would come back holding his hand a piece of gold brown leather. With eyes fixed on it, he would remark, "What a beautiful beast." When I too had admired it, he would speak again, "When do you want them?" And I would answer, "Oh, as soon as you conveniently can." And he would say, "Tomorrow for a fortnight." Or if he were his elder brother, I will ask my brother. Okay, you can see the many words are written in wrong spellings, but you know that these all sentences are not in the wrong spelling. Actually, it is telling the real accent how Mr. Gessler was speaking with Mr. Narrator. Okay, so when the narrator went into the shop of Mr. Gessler, he found that he was in the dream, and suddenly he came in the existence, and he felt that somebody had come, so he asked about his well-being. Look, you can see here that how do you do, Mr. Gessler. And then Mr. Narrator asked him to make Russian leather boots. and then he went into the shop, inside the shop, and he went to the next side of the shop where the leather and the things which was required to take the size of the customer, the legs of the customer, he went to bring all those things. What he brought, let's see. He brought a golden brown leather so that he could show the leather which would be used for the boots for the customer. Okay, with ice pigs on it, he would remark. It means when he was showing the leather, he was telling that look, it is very beautiful. He was admiring the leather. You know that whenever we go some shoe shop, generally the shopkeeper of the shop tells you that this one looks very beautiful, this one is having this quality, this one is having this quality. It has been told by all the shopkeepers. Just like that, he was also telling and showing the quality of the leather to narrator. He was telling and admiring the leather, the red leather. What was the leather? What kind of leather it was? Russian leather. It was Russian leather. Okay. When the narrator also spoke in the admiration of the leather, and then he asked about the date that they were ordering. It means when they want to take the shoe to be made, and he told them. Mr. Narrator told him that whenever you are able to make. It means as soon as possible you can make. I will come to take my shoes. Okay. Then he told about the time that tomorrow 4:09. It means tomorrow, next day before night. Next day before night. Okay. Then he got his elder brother. If there would be his brother, it means big brother, he would say that I will ask my brother that when I can dispatch this order to you. Then I would murmur. What he said that thank you, good morning Mr. Gessler. And he also greeted him good morning. He would reply, still looking at the leather in his hand, and as he moved to the door, I would hear the tip-tap of his slippers going up the steps to his dream of boots. You can see that he is taking the size of the leg of narrator. Can you see, children?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Now let's
Yes, ma'am.
Next. I cannot forget that day on which I had occasion to say to him, Mr. Gessler, that last pair of boots creaked, you know. One day it happened the first time with Mr. Narrator that he found the boots made by Mr. Gessler creaked. First time he made a small mistake to make the leather boots. So the first time the narrator had a simple complaint about the boots of Mr. Gessler. He was thinking about his own art. Who was thinking? Mr. Gessler always considered shoemaking as an art. So he never find it is to be mistaken, and it should always be good, and the customer should be happy. He was always thinking. But one day when Mr. Gessler had a complaint about the pair of the shoes that they creaked. They creaked means they were not coming fit in the legs of the narrator, and they ripped off. He looked at me for a long time without replying. It means first he was not even able to accept it that it happened. It means he was never thought of that he will mistake to make any good. But this time it happened, so he was feeling very shameful. He was feeling very insulted that first time somebody complained about the boots. Let's see what happened after. So, he looked at me for a time without reply as he expecting me to withdraw or qualify the statement. Then he said what he told, he replied that it shouldn't have been. It means it shouldn't have done that because I never mistook it. So how it can be possible? It means he was not able to accept that he had mistaken something. So it did. I am afraid. Who told this? The narrator. Narrator is telling that yes, it had been happened. You are telling me, but I am complaining you that your ball, your boots, you made creep. Now you got them wet before they found themselves. I don't think so. At that he lowered his eye. It means now he was feeling very shameful that first time he found a complaint from his customer. As he hunting for the memory of those boots, and he felt very sorry that I had mentioned this grave thing. Send them back. Send them back means send them back. It means please bring those creaked shoes to me and I will mend it. Who told this? Mr. Gessler too. Mr. Gessler too.
The narrator.
Very good. Very good. It means very good. You all are listening. I think it is very good. He said, I will look at them. Some boots, he continued slowly, are bad from birth. If I can do nothing with them, I take them off your bill. What he told, Mr. Gessler told that some of the boots are bad by birth. It means it is my mistake that I had made it by some casualty. That's why it creaked. Otherwise, it never had been done by me that somebody complained me about my bad quality of shoes. So, if please you bring my shoes, I will mend them, and if there would not be able to be mend, I will return your money. I will return your money. Just like that, it happened with the guarantee. You know that whenever we purchase something from some shop and shopkeeper gives us a warranty or guarantee. Okay, just like that, he was also telling about his guarantee. Once only I went absent-mindedly into a shop in a pair of boots bought in an emergency at some large firm. He took my order without showing me any leather, and I could feel his eyes penetrating the inferior covering on my foot. At last he said, "Those are not my boots." The tone was not one of anger, nor of sorrow, not even of contempt, but there was in it something quiet that froze the blood. He put his hand down and pressed a finger on the place where the left boot was not quite comfortable. Okay, when one day what happened? It has been completed. He brought the shoes to Mr. Gessler and they mended, and after that one again it happened. What happened? That Mr. Narrator went to the shoemaker's shop with an emergency that at some large firm. It means he took my order without showing me any leather, and he could feel his eyes penetrating the inferior covering of my foot. It means again it happened. Again it happened that he mistook something again. So then Then he again told him that it was not made by me. It was not made by me. He was telling to Mr. Narrator that those boots were not made by me. I can recognize my boots. Whoever is made by me, I can recognize them very frequently, very easily. So the tone, but this time when he was saying that these boots are not mine or made by me, he was not angry, he was not sad, he was not even revolting, he was not with the contempt, he was not even revolting and dissuading that the shoes were not of his. Then he put his hand down and pressed a finger on the place, and left foot was not quite comfortable. That he said, what said? It puts you there, those big firms of no self-respect. Actually, those boots which was worn by narrator was of some big firm. It means it was not of Mr. Gassler's shop. It means it was of someone's other's shop. It means some big firm, some very big company, the shop was there. But he went to the Mr. Gassler's shop to repair it. Okay? So when he went to repair it, yes. Yes, children, say what happened. Okay, listen carefully, beta. We will last it up to this paragraph. Okay. So it puts you there, and those big firms are no having any self-respect. Who was telling? Mr. Gassler first time talked to the Mr. Narrator that big firms have no self-respect. They make the things with many casualties, and he spoke very long and very bitterly. And it was the only time I had ever him discuss the condition and hardship of the trade. Thank you. Now we will start the mutual conversation.